So you want to get a girlfriend, but what are you meant to do? Where are you meant to go? How do you start? Most guys are going to go to the easiest option, which is just to download one of those dating apps like Tinder or Bumble. But that's a terrible, terrible idea because those apps are horribly biased against men. The research shows that women are 13 times more likely than men to get messages, and that the bottom 80% of men are competing for the top 22% of women. This massive imbalance against men that is exacerbated by the Tinder algorithms just makes men feel terrible about themselves. Even regular looking dudes, nice guys, end up feeling like they're not desirable at all. The short version is that if you're a man, do not use these apps. They're just going to make you feel terrible about yourself. But if you're not going to use dating apps, then what is the alternative? How are you meant to meet women? Maybe you should learn some game. Go online, study the pickup artist guys, then you can go out to clubs and bars or just meet women on the street. That's a better option, but it's still not optimal because every single day you start from zero. So what can you do to improve your odds? Let me introduce you to the pyramid. You see, I don't believe that men can just magically change their romantic circumstances overnight. I don't believe that they can go from being single and lonely to suddenly meeting some high quality girl, start dating her, and be in the relationships of his dreams. It just doesn't happen like that. What I advise men to do is a much more gradual approach, building your life from the bottom up. Take things slowly, cement in every single stage, create very strong foundations so that a girlfriend is the inevitable conclusion. Of all of the types of relationships you're going to have in your life, the romantic relationship is the most difficult one because it's the most intimate. That's where you're going to be challenged the most. It's where you're going to feel the most vulnerable. Because the romantic relationship is the most meaningful relationship you're going to have in your life, before you can handle that kind of intimacy, you have to prove to yourself that you're capable of having other types of relationships. So let's start at the bottom of the pyramid. The first relationship that you need to sort out before you can even begin contemplating other relationships is your relationship with yourself. Self-esteem is not a luxury. Self-esteem is a necessity. I promise you, it is psychologically impossible for you to have a healthy and functional relationship with a woman unless you have a healthy and functional relationship with yourself. Some guys want to skip this step and they just want to go straight to having a girlfriend. They think, well, sure, I have low self-esteem. Sure, I feel bad about myself and have a negative self-image, but all of that's going to be fixed once I get a girlfriend. Then I'll feel good about myself. It doesn't work like that. First of all, that's really codependent because you're putting the responsibility for your own emotions onto another person. Secondly, a high quality woman is not going to be attracted to a man with low self-esteem. Women only date up. And so the only kind of woman that you're going to be able to attract into a relationship is one who's more psychologically dysfunctional than you. Women take their cues from the man about how they should feel about him. And so if you're filled with self-loathing, then she's going to treat you as though you're a low-value guy. And why wouldn't she? After all, who knows you better than you? But if you have confidence and high self-esteem, then she will follow your lead and she'll be very attracted to you. So before you even ask the question, how do I create a good relationship with a girl? Ask yourself, how do I create a good relationship with myself? Because if you still have low self-esteem, that needs to be your number one priority. It has to get fixed first. For resources on self-esteem, I recommend authors like Ayn Rand and Nathaniel Branden, particularly the book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. So, you've got a good relationship with yourself? That's fantastic. Let's move on to the next stage of the pyramid, which is solid male friendships. It might seem strange in the path towards getting a girlfriend to hear me say that you need to have good male friendships, but I promise you, this is an essential step. You cannot skip this one. The communication skills and emotional self-awareness necessary for a relationship, a romantic relationship, are so intense that before you can prove that you're competent to be able to handle that, before you know that you have the capacity, you need to prove yourself in what should be the easiest of all of the social relationships, which is a friendship with another man. Ask yourself, do I have a lot of male friends? And of the ones that I do have, do they like me? Do they respect me? When I'm hanging out with a group of guys, do I feel socially comfortable? Do men come and ask me for my advice? Do they specifically seek out my company? Have I been adding new friends to my social circle throughout my life to reflect my changing circumstances and beliefs? Or am I still friends with the same old guys from high school, even though we don't have much in common anymore? If you don't have good, solid male friendships, then you're not ready for a romantic relationship. And also, women aren't likely to find you desirable because women are attracted to men who are socially adept. It's really attractive for a woman to see her man liked and respected by other men. You cannot skip this step. You need to have good, solid male friendships. The next stage of the pyramid gets a lot harder, and that's to have good, solid female friendships. Some guys have such a strong mental barrier to this one. They think it's completely unnecessary and pointless. But honestly, how do you expect to be able to handle the emotional intimacy necessary for a romantic relationship with a woman with all of the psychological complexities and vulnerabilities unless you've first proven to yourself that you can be friends with a woman? You see, this is how the pyramid works. Each new layer requires more skills, more depth, and it gets harder as you go. But as you prove to yourself that you're capable of handling each new stage of the pyramid, you're building courage, you're building confidence that when it comes time to having that romantic, intimate relationship with a woman, you have the necessary skills. And it's important to not skip this step because the skills necessary to be friends with a woman are completely different to the skills necessary to be friends with a man. And those unique skills are the ones that you're most likely going to need to draw upon in your romantic relationship. In a romantic relationship, you're going to need to understand how women think, how they process the world around them. You're going to need to understand how they feel, what their priorities are, how to comfort them. All of that's necessary knowledge. So before you're ready for the romantic relationship, you need to practice on your female friends. I'm not saying that you need to be feminine, but you do need to be at least in touch with your feminine side and able to leave the cognitive realm just briefly to be able to converse with women on a more emotional level. There will be times where that's absolutely necessary. Yes, she wants to see your masculinity, but at times you will need to connect with her. If you have no idea how to connect with her, then she's going to pick up on your social awkwardness and she's not going to find you attractive. Any potential girlfriend is going to pick up on the natural confidence that you exude. You have solid, dependable male friendships, and you have the skills necessary to handle multiple female friendships. Now you've proven to yourself that you're capable of handling an intimate romantic relationship. Also, if you've taken the time to go through all of these stages and you've created for yourself this thriving social circle, a girlfriend is not necessarily something that you're going to need to go out and seek. It's going to come to you. At that stage, it's basically an inevitability, because if you're this great high-value guy who hangs out with other great high-value people, then women are going to be introduced to you, new women every single week, always with the introduction of, have you met my friend? This guy is amazing. You will be sought after. And any new women who are joining that extended social circle will be seeing the fact that your friends respect you, that other women are comfortable around you, and she's going to find that very desirable. Best of all, because you met her through your extended social circle, she's likely to be of the same kind of community that you are, likely to have the same beliefs and interests and priorities. She has been socially vetted and vouched for by people whose opinions you respect and trust because you're friends with them. With a properly developed social circle, you'll be meeting new women every single week, high quality women, and at that point it's just a matter of picking out which one you think is best suitable for a romantic relationship.